It's funny, says host Eric, host Talking with Funny People, the way that people will attack anything if they think there's a vulnerability there, no matter how good, just, and true it is. So much so that it took finally, at the end of Joe McCarthy's McCarthyist Red Scare shit, for somebody to say to him in front of the national TV audience, "At long last, sir, have you no shame?" And people kind of came to their senses. Oh shit, this guy is an absolute scumbag, who's just trying to crush people beneath his boot for no particular reason. Well, the thing is, a lot of people are easily crushed beneath the boot. And that's why we have advocates. So if I go to court, I'm not going to need to hire a lawyer. No problem. If you go to court, you will. Jeff Shaw, if you go to court, you're going to need to hire a lawyer. Because you're not going to win anybody's hearts and minds with your bullshit. Not if your opponent is a smart person. You're never going to get away with that bullshit, right? So what does Jeff Shaw say? He says, starts to come with, you need to, addressing me, stop talking for Rachel. Actually, if you, Jeff Shaw, were smart, you'd engage me to talk for you as well. So you wouldn't sound like such an idiot. Running Fox, I never understood why Rachel lets Eric talk for her so much. If you were smart, you'd let me talk for you too. If you had any situation in which you needed any advocacy occurring at all. Rachel has experience of me talking on her behalf, acting as her health advocate, in which we successfully upturned a decade's worth of bullshit in one phone call. There's a good reason why Jeffrey's parents enlisted me to talk to PayPal when PayPal had seized $20,000 of their dollars. Because I got it back. So, people constantly overestimate the importance and also their own ability to communicate on their own behalf when there's something in dispute. That's not the case. Generally speaking, most people cannot handle that job. It's a professional's job. If you've got an adversary who's being adversarial, oppositional with you, and taking a position that you are somehow going to be relegated to a position of insignificance, of the thing that gets bullied, right? Then, and it's not going to happen on my watch. The other factor is this. This shit includes me too. This is not just abuse of Rachel. It's Rachel's mom slandering me, defaming me with lies about the fact that somehow I'm responsible, my behavior is responsible for this eruption, even though at no point did I ever suggest any kind of distancing from Rachel or her family. This is entirely at her mom's discretion. And in response to Rachel calling her bluff one time, calling me and telling her to come pick her up because her mom changed the rules about pot smoking. So, yeah, Rachel's right over there. She's looking at her phone. She's nodding along with what I'm saying. She could be over here making her own arguments. But you know what? If she were here making her own arguments, Jeff Shaw would have something more reasonable to pick at. Instead, he can't address anything I said. He just addressed the fact that I'm the one saying it. Why? Because he's fundamentally dishonest. Randy Fox, you should know better than to agree with anything that man says. He's toxicity in a brightly colored Mayday hat, projecting continuously his own bullshit onto everybody because he's got some sort of chip on his shoulder, right? Jeff Shaw, you know what? You can fuck with me all you want, but this is a Rachel-related issue. There's a critique here implicit that Rachel, no matter how you interpret Jeff Shaw's thing, either Rachel's weak or I'm overbearing. The fact is, Jeff Shaw, you're weak and overbearing, and Rachel and I are neither. Neither of us are either. She's not weak at all. She's smart enough to convey to me very clearly what her positions and stuff are and allow me to help her successfully attain some equivalency in terms of narrative leverage against these people who've been exploiting her lack of narrative force of will for her entire life, more or less, Rachel doesn't need to be a good self-advocate to deserve to be advocated for well. And that's something we all need to remember. for anybody who out there who has some problem like Rachel was enduring, what you dream of more than anything else is to have me operating as your agent, as your advocate, and on your behalf. Because I am way better at it than you will ever be, whoever you are. And Jeff Shaw, go fuck yourself.